In the dead of night, a modern, isolated house stands amidst thick trees, its silence broken only by the persistent buzzing of a phone. The phone is vibrating endlessly, its screen lighting up with a series of missed calls. The name Amy flashes repeatedly, unanswered. The buzzing intensifies, filling the empty hallway with its urgency. Suddenly, without warning, a violent explosion rocks the house, the windows shattering as a figure jolts awake in bed, gasping for air. The world around him has shifted from calm to chaos in an instant. Jerking awake from the blast, Leon's heart pounds in his chest as he tries to understand the sudden chaos. His eyes dart around the room, searching for answers. The phone vibrates on the nightstand, and as he grabs it, he sees the repeated missed calls from Amy. Something is seriously wrong. His mind races, trying to piece together what's happening. Desperation fuels him as he dials back, hoping for answers, but there's only silence on the other end. He rushes through the darkened hallway, his phone pressed tightly against his ear. Amy has been calling. Something urgent, something dangerous. His fear mounts as he finally steps outside, his heart nearly stopping at the sight in front of him. The situation is worse than he could have ever imagined. A massive creature looms in the distance, towering over the landscape. The ground shakes beneath him as the beast rises, its presence dominating everything in sight. Leon's heart races faster than before, terror flooding his senses as he backs away, unable to tear his gaze from the monstrosity before him. Without hesitation, he sprints toward his car, determination etched across his face. He pulls open the car door and climbs in, his mind already set on his next move. The car tears through the night, headlights piercing the darkness as he races toward his destination. Gripping the steering wheel tightly, his focus narrows. This isn't just a catastrophe, this is personal. The drill site, his project. He's heading straight into the heart of the danger. Panic sweeps through the crowd as people scream and scramble in every direction. A man at the forefront shouts desperately, urging everyone to move, to run. The chaos is overwhelming, with fear spreading rapidly as everyone struggles to flee from the monstrosities. Inside his car, Leon grips the wheel tightly, frustration clear on his face. As Leon steps out of his car, he quickly becomes the target of their desperation. Hands grab at him, voices shout warnings of monsters, but he holds his ground. Leon, unshaken, attempts to take control of the situation, his tone commanding. But the crowd is beyond calming. They scream of the horrors they've seen, urging him to run as well. Yet Leon refuses to give in to their panic. He knows the only way forward now is to take matters into his own hands. The scream cuts through the crowd, sending another wave of fear rippling through those around. Leon spins as he sees the terror-stricken mob pointing and shouting towards something unseen. Among the fleeing crowd, a woman stumbles, her voice trembling as she tries to warn the others. And then, emerging from the darkness, they come. Figures once human, now twisted and grotesque. The infected move in, relentless and terrifying, their presence sending chills through anyone who dares to look. The woman's scream is cut short as one of the grotesque creatures lunges forward, its claws sinking into her neck. Blood sprays from the wound as her eyes widen in shock and terror. Leon recoils in horror, barely able to comprehend the brutality unfolding before him. His heart races as adrenaline takes over. This is beyond anything he's ever faced, and the reality of it hits him hard. Panic fuels his movements as he stumbles backward, racing toward his car. His mind is clouded with fear, cursing under his breath as he scrambles to get away. The infected swarm around, closing in fast. The ground beneath seems to twist and contort. Leon's grip tightens on the steering wheel, his eyes wide with fear as he fights to regain control. The infected are everywhere, rushing toward the vehicle, hands outstretched, chanting a single, terrifying word. The infected slam against Leon's car, their hands pounding against the glass, their bloodshot eyes fixed on him with terrifying intensity. One of the infected creatures presses its face against the window, its glowing red eyes boring into Leon's soul, desperately trying to break through. Amidst the chaos, Leon shouts into his phone, trying to reach anyone who can help, but his words are drowned out by the madness surrounding him. Suddenly, hands burst through the car's shattered window. He thrashes, but more infected are clawing their way in, surrounding him. His panicked cries echo through the night as the grotesque figures drag him down, their grasp tightening as they overwhelm him. The constant hum of machinery fills the air as the massive drill bores into the earth, spewing steam and debris. Standing above it, Leon surveys his operation. Below, a crowd has gathered, hundreds of people, waving signs and shouting in protest. Leon stands at the balcony with Amy, his irritation clear as he watches the chaos unfold below. Amy tries to see the lighter side of things, but Leon's frustration grows. These people believe in something dangerous. Their talk of deities and rapture is unsettling. This project is too important to be stopped by fanatics. He wants them gone, off his property and far away from his drilling site. But Amy, her voice calm and measured, points out the issue. This is their home, and this conflict isn't going away. Leon descends the stairs, his mind racing with determination. The protesters might be on public land, but that doesn't matter to him. He asks Amy if he can simply buy the land. It's clear he's willing to go to any lengths to keep his project on track. Amy points out that by the time any deal is made, the drilling would be finished. But Leon isn't deterred. This project is more than just drilling. It's the most important work of his life, and he cannot afford any interference. His frustration shows as he speaks. Standing on the balcony, he looks down at the operation, his voice filled with resolve. They're going to keep digging, and they're going to uncover a new energy source, clean, limitless, and revolutionary. In his eyes, this project will change the world. As the sun begins to set, the drilling continues, the massive rig humming with energy as it pushes deeper into the earth. The operators inside the control room monitor the progress, their eyes fixed on the instruments, 19 kilometers down, and they want to push even further before the daylight fades. The drill grinds relentlessly, breaking through rock and earth with a steady mechanical rhythm. But suddenly, something changes. A strange, unsettling noise echoes from below, and the rig shudders, the sudden silence filling the air with tension. There's no time to call for help. The realization hits hard. Something is very wrong beneath the surface, and it's about to erupt. The tension explodes into chaos as shouts of "evacuate" ring out through the facility. Workers scramble in every direction, the rumbling beneath their feet growing louder with every second. The ground continues to tremble, the mechanical groaning of the drill drowned out by the rising panic. Then, without warning, an earth-shattering explosion rips through the facility. The shockwave moves through the machinery and flips vehicles like toys. Screams fill the air as the fire consumes everything in its path. Some manage to keep running, pushing through the chaos, but for many it's already too late. The explosion claims everything in its reach. As one worker turns back to shout for his friend, he watches in horror as he sees him being crushed. Panic continues to spread as workers desperately try to flee the collapsing site. The ground beneath them churns, bubbling up with a grotesque, unnatural force. One worker shouts at the others to keep moving. Suddenly, the earth splits open, and massive, jagged spires shoot upward, ripping through the facility and sending debris flying in every direction. The spires gleam with an otherworldly glow, towering over the panicked crowd as they scream in terror. Leon watches from above. He refuses to let his project be derailed, no matter how dire the circumstances. "Get me Hopewell," he demands, as the chaos unfolds beneath him. The aftermath of the disaster is stark. Military trucks rumble down the winding path toward the destroyed drilling site. The facility, once a towering monument to progress, now lies in ruins. At the forefront of the approaching convoy, a figure steps out of a vehicle and surveys the scene with a grim expression. Inside the office, Dorsey sits across from the commanding figure. The tension in the room is thick as she recounts the events, making sure she understands exactly what led to this disaster. She lays out the facts. Dorsey had been drilling deeper than anyone else dared to go, and it's led to something catastrophic. But Leon isn't having any of it. He cuts in, making it clear that there's no proof his equipment caused the explosion, refusing to take the blame for what's unfolded. He insists that they make a note of that, as if distancing himself from the consequences. The officer, unimpressed, lets the matter drop for now. She's here for the truth. With a smirk, she responds coolly, "Whatever you say," the tension lingering in the air. Leon tries to explain the chaos surrounding his drilling operation. The military officer, skeptical and direct, lays out the facts. There was an explosion, workers and bystanders were killed, and now a strange group of people, cultists as Leon calls them, are involved. Sighing, Leon tries to downplay the situation, brushing off the cultists' beliefs as nonsense. According to them, some creature lurks beneath the earth and his drilling might awaken it. Leon clearly doesn't believe a word of it, dismissing their claims as foolish. But the officer isn't so easily convinced. She points to the sludge that erupted from the ground, pressing him for answers. Leon remains cagey, insisting that the origin of the sludge is unknown for now. Despite his attempt to stay calm, there's a growing tension in the room. She's had enough. Looking Leon dead in the eye, the officer doesn't mince words. He's in serious trouble. Her bluntness cuts through the corporate facade Leon's been trying to maintain. He pleads for a chance to explain, determined to salvage the future he's built his life around. Walking through the rubble of the drilling site, Leon speaks with conviction, still clinging to his vision for the future. The destruction around them doesn't shake his belief in the project's potential. Limitless, clean energy. The officer, Gallagher, listens closely, but her skepticism remains. She asks the simple, practical question, what does Leon need from her? Without hesitation, Leon lays it out. He needs containment. No news crews, no officials, no one to pry into the dangerous truths of what's happening here. And more than anything, he needs the cultists to be silenced, to keep them from spreading their beliefs and interfering further. Gallagher knows the drill. She's done things before, things that would make these problems disappear. But before Gallagher can warn Leon about what she's learned from her experiences, their conversation is interrupted by a voice calling out, grabbing their attention. Chaos erupts as one of the cultists breaks free, running and shouting in a frenzy. He warns those around him that it is coming, the vision becoming a reality. Gallagher remains calm as she challenges the cultist's vision. She pins him against the wall. She mocks his delusions, but the cultist is convinced of the impending doom. Before he can continue, one of the guards slams the butt of his rifle into the man's head, knocking him out cold. The moment of tension breaks with a smirk. Gallagher, however, remains composed, turning back to Leon to finish her point. Her voice is serious now as she warns Leon. There are things in this world that are better left alone. She's seen things that should have stayed buried, and she's certain this place is one of them. His face hardens as he states what's clear to him. They've come too far to turn back now. Even as Gallagher insists, the site is practically screaming to be left alone. The infected swarm Leon, pulling him violently through the broken glass of his car. Their snarling faces are twisted with hunger, and their red eyes burn with a terrifying intensity. Leon struggles in their grasp, thrashing as the infected claw at him, trying to tear him apart. Panic fills his voice as he begs to be released, desperately trying to escape their deadly grip. His cries for help echo in the chaos, but the infected don't relent. One of them lunges forward, its gnarled teeth bared as it closes in on Leon's neck. Gallagher, cool under pressure, turns to Leon. Her voice cuts through the noise with a cold, sarcastic, "Hey Leon, you gonna just stand there and scream?" Gallagher demands Leon snap out of his shock. Behind her, the soldiers prepare for the fight, their weapons ready. The soldiers around her are in disbelief, witnessing the sheer madness of the situation. One turns to Gallagher, remarking on how insane it all is. Gunfire erupts as the soldiers unload on the infected, the scene a whirlwind of bullets and blood. Gallagher grabs Leon, snapping him back to reality as she drags him to safety. She urges him to move, pushing him forward as the firefight rages on around them. Leon, still in shock, stumbles along, his mind reeling as he tries to process the chaos. Gunfire echoes through the night as the team battles against the relentless horde of infected. Leon, still shaken, turns to Gallagher, hoping for answers. "So you're going to help me then?" Leon asks. Gallagher, calm under fire, shoots down another infected and responds with cold determination. She knows the situation is dire, but if anyone can fix it, it has to be Leon. Gallagher takes charge, firing with precision as she makes a promise. She's going to do her best to keep Leon alive, but it's time to move. The mission isn't over yet. They fight their way out, guns blazing. The monstrous creature looms, its massive tentacled form dominating the landscape. It stands over the ruins of the facility, its glowing red eyes surveying the destruction as it prepares to unleash even more terror. Alright, that's it for Toxic Commando. Man, what a wild ride, right? If you're into this kind of craziness, let me know what you thought down in the comments. Always cool to hear your take on it. And hey, if you had fun hanging out today, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more cool stuff. Thanks for chilling with me, and I'll see you in the next one.